comes, I believe as Christians, we must cling to the hope that God is doing small things to bring about his rule right in the middle of Caesar's world. Feeding hungry people, visiting lonely people, clothing naked people, visiting strangers, welcoming strangers. Those are small things that fly under the radar of Caesar's world. And yet, Jesus teaches us that that's how the kingdom comes. Small, surprising, insignificant. We don't want to be small, surprising, and insignificant. We want to be big and dominating and visible. Why? Because we're afraid if we're not, then it won't work. I'm here to tell you that Jesus didn't share that fear. He came to an obscure village to a peasant couple in the midst of Caesar's world, and he brought the light into a dark world. The reality is Caesar's world is dark, and Jesus is the light. I believe that what our world needs is tender, humble, loving people of God, and that will win the world. Never more has the world needed peaceful Christians to remind the world in all its chaos that the Prince of Peace has come. The long, dark season is over. We need to have outposts of peace in the midst of a world gone crazy. What we don't need is to mirror the chaos that is in Caesar's world, where we grasp for power and we manipulate and use people to get our own way. That's Caesar's way, not Jesus' way. What we need is to have a race to get to the basin and the towel to wash people's feet, to serve people, to love people. What we need is to be like Jesus and stand up for sinners and stand up for weak people and stand up for children. And if we do that, as we can choose to continue to do that, we're going to be flying under the radar. Caesar's not going to pay us any attention. He's not going to give us any awards. But what we do is we spread the kingdom of God. The light of Christ is spread that way. I know. I nearly had to buy a new TV this week because I made the mistake of watching religious TV again. And they were up there trying to raise $1.5 million to buy some stuff so they could resemble Caesar's world. And I thought, as they were trying to raise this $1.5 million, how many hungry children would $1.5 million feed? How many people that are homeless today wouldn't have to be homeless if we weren't rushing to look like Caesar, but rather rushing to serve and love and humbly wash the feet of our world? Our world has never needed more Christians who are not afraid and flip out when terror happens. Now, all of us this Christmas season have been moved by Newtown, Connecticut, and the shooting and the deaths of children there. How can you not be moved by that? But what our world needs is not for Christ followers to chime in with all the rest of the political groups and flip out. start offering solutions that don't look like Christ. What our world needs is for the Christians to stand as a community of hope and a community of peace and suggest the only real solution that will work. And I don't know what solutions would work on a temporary basis, but I'm not going to jump on with the liberals who are saying we ought to ban guns. I own guns, and I'm not in that camp. But neither am I going to jump in with the NRA and say what we need is everybody packing heat. The fact is, with Jesus Christ in my life and me belonging to a Jesus community, the reality is what I need to do is just not flip out over the situation. What I need to do is love my neighbor. What I need to do is even though, now you say, what in the world good's that going to do? I know what you're saying. There's a part of me says it too. You know? What we need is Todd Norris down there with a submachine gun at high school, and we won't have anybody shooting in Florence. Well, if that's you, you flipped out. The solution doesn't seem to be related with the problem any more than a babe in a manger seems to be related with solving the world's problems by bringing the light of God into a dark world.